What is up, guys? That Tribute Guy here, bringing you some more domination gameplay, this time on Cove. And there's a couple things I want to talk to you about today, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. First thing is first, the new single player's reveal trailer for Call of Duty Ghosts came out yesterday, and it definitely told us a little bit more about the game than what we already knew. First thing is first, we now know officially what the Odin Strike is. A lot of people were calling it the new nuke, that it had nuke-like effects, but now we know that it is a orbital weapons satellite that is essentially a railgun. So this is exciting stuff. We have a railgun now. So it's all the devastation of a nuclear warhead without the radiation afterwards. So that's pretty. That's just going to be pretty awesome to begin with. So let's go ahead and break down this trailer and talk about it a little bit. So this big in-space engagement goes on. I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're fighting over the Odin weapons satellite. I know, big big risk there, saying that that's what they're fighting over. But I'm going to go ahead and say that it's one country versus ours. We obviously, with a weapons satellite that powerful, if somebody could just... We wouldn't want somebody to just be able to go up there and do a couple things, override it, us have no control, and then use it against us. So, I guess in Infinity War's eyes, it makes sense to I guess have a strike team up there to make sure that they can defend it in case anybody does try and take the weapon system away from us. So I'm gonna assume that that's what's gonna happen right there. There's gonna be this big engagement. Then we're probably gonna... Then what comes in is you see that you've got this invasion force coming into the U.S. So I'm going to once again assume, big stretch of the imagination there, that this is the same country that is coming in trying to take over. And that's what's going to lead us to what the modern gameplay is with the title. It'll take us to current times in the game. And we'll probably end up having to... once again, big stretch here, fend off and sort of do a guerrilla warfare type thing going against this country, because we're going to be the underdogs. We're not going to have all these things at our disposal anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens in this game, because it seems like it's got a really interesting storyline going for it. I'm really interested in seeing what is going to happen with this whole father-son dynamic and what's going to happen with the characters in general. I'm going to go ahead and predict that this is going to be a multi-game series. So Infinity Ward has gotten really good at that. I mean, let's face it, the characters in Modern Warfare were extremely well done. You cared about them, you know. So when Soap died at the end, you were like, no, Soap! I can't believe it. I mean, so let's go on and face it. You know, when everybody dies at the end and there's only the one last guy standing, you're just like, you're so upset. You know, you had all this time invested into these characters as you were playing this single player campaign, and it just sort of like abruptly ended with only one person left alive. And you know, I have a feeling that Infinity Ward is once again going to try and make sure that we are that invested in the characters in this game. So it'll be really interesting to see what the storyline brings for us and how these characters will interact and what we're going to think of them. So guys, pretty much, if you can't already tell, I am super stoked, super excited about this game. I really just cannot wait to get my hands on it. I can't wait to play it. For all I know, you know, guys, maybe when the game comes out, you could expect some capture card single player mode gameplay from me, you know, where I'll be playing the campaign. So I might do that. It'll really all just depend. You know, the PS4 is supposed to have HDMI only hookup, so if that's the case, we're gonna have to see if the HD PVR from Hauppauge is really going to work with it. The rumor is that it's supposed to. I had heard that from the Hauppauge team a little while ago. I had found it out, looked it up. They had said that they had done a little setup, and a couple of Sony employees saw their setup that they had, and they said, yeah, that should work. Because that's one of the big things, obviously, with them is that they're hoping to, they want to be able to keep selling game capture cards. That's their business. And if they can't sell them because the PS4 doesn't allow them, then that's a lot of their business gone. So, guys, it does sound like the HD capture card, the HD PVR2, and other HD capture cards are going to work with the HDMI only hookup on the PS4. So that's a huge plus for all YouTubers that use PSN, and maybe it'll allow even more PSN players to become big YouTubers. So that way we'll have more of a voice, so it won't be an Xbox only community. So we'll just have to see how things go with that, guys. But let's go ahead and move on to the next thing that I really want to talk to you about, and that is how to do well with assault rifles. So first thing is first, you got to pick up your perks. Now, I know everybody has their perks that they like to use. Me, personally, my favorite perks are Tactical Mask, Flak Jacket, Hardline, Scavenger, and every once in a while I'll use an additional tier 3 perk. It'll really depend on what class I'm using, but assault rifles I typically don't like to, because I'm going to usually go after primary gunfighter, which the 3 attachments I like to use, guys, are extended mags, stock, and silencer. As you can see, I'm using stock and silencer here. I don't think I'd put extended mags on this one yet, but here's going to be the deal with why I choose those 3. A lot of people say, oh, you should really put a red dot on it, or depending on like if you like the iron sights or not. The iron sights do not matter to me. I will use the iron sights no matter how ungodly, pathetic, and horrible they are. It's just, for me, it's preference. I would rather, because in all intents and purposes, the red dot doesn't help you zoom in any. It doesn't really help you with anything at all. It just puts a dot that says, hey, this is where your bullet is going. And guess what? My iron sights do exactly the same thing. Back in the old games, I would use, back in Modern Warfare 3 and the other games when they were a little slower paced, I might use an ACOG or a different sight that had a little bit of magnification on it. The big reason for why I would do that is because it was a lot easier in those games to keep people at a distance. So having that ability to zoom in a little bit and be a little zoomed in and see people better at a distance and be able to fire and hit them and be more on target and have better aim at longer distances was a big thing for me. But in this map, the maps are a little bit smaller, and even in the big maps, the lines of sight that I have to use the assault rifle in aren't really long enough to cause me to say, hey, I could really use an ACOG here. So for the most part, any sight other than the iron sight is a wasted attachment to me on these weapons. So honestly, I could understand, depending on the map, maybe using FMJs, or like every perk has its advantage, every attachment has its advantage. But for me, the lethal combination is extended mag, stock, and silencer. I think they just work really well together. Stock is a must-have on all assault rifles, period. This isn't my opinion, this is fact. The assault rifles are so slow, and if you're going to run and gun, you've got to have stock. If you're going to camp, you don't necessarily need it, I guess, but let's face it, I'm not going to advertise camping, so I'm going to say you need to run and gun, and you need to use stock. And the silencer and extended mags work really well together, mainly because of the fact that the silencer causes you to deal less damage, meaning that it takes more rounds to kill somebody. I know, newsflash here, guys, but so you toss in the extended mags, you get a little bit more ammo to handle with each thing, which means you have to reload less as well. So in situations. There's always been tons of situations where I get in a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1, and I'm like, God, why didn't I have extended mags on? So now I always run them, guys. So extended mags is a huge plus, especially when you mix everything with scavenger. You're never going to run out of ammo, especially when you're going completely beast mode like I was this game. So, guys, I hope this has helped you out. I hope this will help you get a little bit better and put better attachments on your assault rifle, and you'll be able to do a lot better. And I hope you like what I had to say about the Ghost single player campaign mode. But this is that tribute guy. Sub, like, I'll see you next time.